Today, we are going to talk about how to find the cheapest flights to Europe. So where you start out is you go to Google Flights. From the opening screen, you can type in which days you're going to leave, which I'm going to use the trip that I'm about to take because it'll just be easier with all the information I've compiled. So, for example, 13th through the 22nd of August, hit done, and we're leaving from Portland because that's where I live. Google loads this interactive map with all the different prices on it. And if you scroll over to Europe, you can see a wide range of prices. And there's Dublin right there for $437 round trip. And throughout this video, you're going to see my notepad over here with everything that I put together. Some of the prices might not be the same because I did book this like a month ago. But amazingly enough, I'm only a week out and Dublin is still basically the same price round trip. So what you can do is just figure out when you're coming in and when you're leaving, and you just populate coming in on August 13th, and at the bottom, you put we're leaving on August 21st. Once you have that round trip, you just have to fill in the gaps everywhere. And you're going to want to pay attention to time because once you get to a different airport in your destination city, then you got to try to book another flight after that. So for example, on this trip, we leave on August 13th, but we get there on August 14th. And that's what this +1 is over here. So we leave at 6:15 in the morning. We get to Dublin at 7:45 a.m. the next day. And I lay out all the airport codes, and then I put the flight numbers in here as well. And the cool thing about notes is that when you put in a flight number, you can click on it and it will show you what that route is. And this is where you got to start making decisions. If you want to stay in Dublin, you just stay in Dublin. I wanted to go somewhere else. So we chose Rome. So then what you do at that point is you know that you're going to be in Dublin after 7:45 a.m. So you go back into Google Flights, you push one way, it's August 14th, and then you put in a couple filters. Nonstop is going to be the best just because you don't want to be sitting in the airport every day in different areas. And then you can go down to times and filter. You want to make sure that you get on a flight fairly early in the morning and not too late in the afternoon. So you put in 9 to 3. Then with those filters on, you can see we're up here in Dublin. All of these flights that you see on the screen leave after 9 a.m. on the 14th and before 3 p.m. So you can just kind of look around the map. And if you want to go to Budapest, go to Budapest. You want to go to Dubrovnik, it's only $51. On this itinerary, we went to Rome, which a month ago was only $121. Today, it's $234. On this flight, you can see it leaves at 10:20 in the morning, which is okay because we were getting to Dublin at 7:45. So that gives us 2 or 3 hours in Dublin at the airport to wait for this flight. The flight arrives in Rome at 2:30. So we know we have the entire afternoon and the next morning to hang out in Rome. There's other transportation options to worry about once you get to the city. But this is what you can do first. You can just find out which places you're going to go. You've already got the bookends. You know you're flying in and out of Dublin. So now you just got to fill in the gaps. So the next day you get up, you're in Rome. It's Friday, August 15th. Once again, you put the filters on nonstop. So you can see what populates. These are the options with those parameters. You could go to Cagliari for $61, Prague for $84, over to Barcelona for $115, or you can go over here to Kefalonia for $74. You can see there's 2 flight options. They both leave at 11:20. So then you come over here to your notepad and you pop in 11:20 to 2:10. This organizes everything. And because you can put it together on your laptop and sync it to your phone, you always have it with you. And the other thing that can help you stay super organized is if you put in how much everything costs and then you just don't check it off until you pay for it. So that means that I paid for it. As well as creating hyperlinks. For example, on this word Kefalonia, that will open up the flight. So if you start booking out far enough, you can save all these links and then refresh them every day and just kind of check in and see where the prices are at. Because there's a lot of information out there about which day of the week you should buy airfare. You usually hear Tuesday or Wednesday, but I just like to start booking it and then refresh it and refresh it and refresh it. Next day, same deal. You're in Kefalonia. You know it's Saturday, August 16th. If you put in your filters nonstop, you really only have one option. Looks like you're going to Athens. This flight's a little bit later in the afternoon, leaving Kefalonia at 2:25 and getting to Athens at 3:30. So you get a little bit more time in Kefalonia, a little less time in Athens. Next day, you're in Athens. So you are in close proximity to all these awesome Greek islands. You want to go to Mykonos? It's only $77, which look at the price. It's gone down as we got closer. That's insane. Next day, there's not quite as many options and they're a bit more expensive, but you can make it over to Naples to go see the Amalfi Coast. Next day, you fly out of Naples. And when I booked it, you could go to Ibiza for $133. Now you can see you're getting to the end of the trip. So you got to find a way to get back to Dublin because that's where your round trip flies out of on Thursday, August 21st. So you can head up to Amsterdam and get yourself pretty close to that Dublin airport. And while most of these flights are pretty reliable, you don't really want to chance it on that return home. So that's why I chose somewhere near Dublin, just in case something weird happened. And if you really want to be safe, you just go back to Dublin and spend the night there. So then on the morning of Thursday, August 21st, there's a 10:10 a.m. flight from Amsterdam to Dublin. And then, as you can see, it gets there right before 11 a.m. And then you have 2 hours to chill in the airport before you come back to the States. So obviously, I just blew through that really quick, and it took me more like 2, 3, 4 weeks to plan. But you get the idea. And based on the decisions you make, you could end up paying as little as $1,300 for the airfare on a trip like this. So then what? Then you got to figure out where you're going to stay, right? Each city's a little different, and you kind of got to do some research. But most large European cities have an extensive train network, like in Rome. And with just a little bit of research, you can see that you can take a train from the Rome airport to the central train station, and it's only 27 minutes and 14 euros. Then typically the most efficient thing to do is you go to Google Maps and you figure out where that train station is. And if you search for hotels in the area, you can see from the central terminal, there's a lot of options. So then you just pick this one right here. 3.8 stars. Don't look too bad. It's only $119 a night. So hypothetically, you fly into Rome, you get on the train, 27 minutes later, and 14 euros, you're at the front door of the Hotel Ariston. So in this scenario, you get to Rome, it's 2:30 in the afternoon, 30 minutes. It's like 3:15 when you get to the hotel. You walk around Rome, have a great time, eat some awesome food. You wake up the next day, you know you have to be to the airport by 11:20, which really is probably more like 9:30. So then you just figure it out and you retrace your steps, take that train right back to the airport. And then if you fly into somewhere a bit smaller, like Kefalonia, you got to figure out where the airport is, which is right down here. And then you can go stay up here in Agostoli. Place like this might take a bit more research because you can rent a car for $95 a day. And once again, you can put in the link so you know where this website is. Check out the car rental. Taxis are 25 euros, which is probably what we'll end up doing because from the research I did, the bus system is not very efficient in Kefalonia, allegedly. So going back just a little bit, one thing I failed to mention is that the reason that this airfare can be so cheap is because you are only bringing a backpack. Most of these airlines will give you a heavily discounted ticket price if you only have one personal item. This is beneficial on 2 levels because it saves you money and because you don't have to check a bag and wait for it. There isn't a potential for them to lose it. You always have everything with you all the time. But yes, it is difficult to pack a week's worth of clothing into one tiny little bag. So after 1 year where I ended up washing my underwear in a sink and drying them outside, I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. Now, when I look for lodging in each one of these places, I check and see if they have laundry service. And this place in Kefalonia does. So 3 days in, we'll be able to do some laundry. Naples, as I've talked about in the previous episode, Capri, is a different beast. There's no train station at the airport. And honestly, no reason to stay in Naples. It sucks. But it is a launching pad for all these incredible destinations directly around it. Ischia, Capri, Sorrento, the Amalfi Coast. If you fly into Naples, you're either going to take a private transfer from the airport or you're going to have to take a bus to the train station. And if you make it down to Sorrento, it's a perfect spot to get on a ferry and go to Positano, Amalfi, Capri. And if you just look for places next to the train stations, it makes life so much easier. You can see here, this gorgeous property is like a 3-minute walk to the train station. So you get the idea. Booking the lodging this way saves you money on transportation costs and saves you time. And based on the decisions you make, you could spend 7 nights in 7 different European cities and spend only $1,200 on lodging. So this trip, minus food and a few other costs, is essentially $2,500. So this is how you find the cheapest flights to Europe. Through many years of booking this way, I'm unaware of a better way to find the cheapest options. But I'm always looking for advice. If I'm missing something here, put it in the comments and let me know how you do your trips.